Hello and welcome back. We are going to be playing another session of... We're going to play another session of lag, by the looks of it. Okay, we're going to be playing another poker session. Yeah, when new tables pop, generally tend to lag. Um, Feeling a little bit under the weather because I got boosted, and so that will be a bit of... probably affect our play a little bit. Also, we're playing in the middle of the day where generally people don't play us poorly. Should we raise with King 4 suit? I kind of like it. And then let me hide my face behind my face here. Okay, this is not a type of board that we would want to continue on. Or let's see. He leads into us for half pot. Kind of weird. I think we can call for one street. The idea being we have backdoor flush and an over, and then we're kind of done with it now. Kind of losing a lot of chips there. Generally, leads are pretty strong, so maybe we shouldn't have done that as an exploitative play. I think theoretically we have to do that, but okay. We're out of position. I'm going to raise to 120. I think I could shove here as well, but... and we're just going to look to stop and go. We're just going to jam, I think, Eddie flop here. Okay. We have a lot of... well, we have decent equity, unless he has a jack. Actually, even if they have a jack, right? Yeah. Okay, in the bottom left, we get 3-bet. We can either jam, or we can 4-bet. Or we could just flat. I kind of like 4-betting. Maybe we don't need to raise, like, just a little bit less than 3x. And then if he jams, we're going to call. So this is a flop that should miss his range most of the time, unless he's got, like, a balanced bluff type range. We're just going to look to... and we have backdoor flush and 2 overs. Yeah. I think we're just going to look to bet there, pretty much no matter what. And maybe that's not the best spot. Here we're going to raise in the top right with King 10 suited. Kind of run into it a little bit. So I think this is technically a raise call. If this other guy calls, we can fold. And this guy's been playing a little weird. I hope he calls off with, like, aces after slow rolling like this, but... so... I have to risk... what is this? I've got to call off 330 to win 410. I wish I had a better read on this guy. I don't know if he's doing this with, like, an airball. Seems like he's played, like, a little strange / aggressive. I'm just gonna fold, but I think there's a reasonable chance I'm supposed to call there. I just really don't know. Well, we're gonna raise, and if he jams, we're gonna call it the king. Oh yeah, I think we want to open another table. So we are gonna find another hyper turbo. A flop that we don't need to bet here with the kings. With the lead into us and the call, I don't like that. I think if we're just gonna get stacked, I think we're just gonna jam here, and we're just okay getting stacked if they have a 10. I just want to get it all in now. Yeah. Kind of weird. The small bet kind of makes it look like he has, like, kind of what he had, which is like a weak pair, and he's just hoping for some like fold equity or something. We can this is like a borderline hand. If we were shallower and there were fewer blinds, this would be like a rip. We're gonna play it as a raise fold, I think. And we are going to bluff. I like bluffing with the ace x off when we have the backdoor flush draw a bit. And I like to bluff rather small on the paired boards because a lot of times people will not. They'll just kind of fold more than they ought to on those types of boards, and so. Alright, so we have a backdoor flush draw and a gutter. We can go for a little check raise action. Well, we hit some equity. I don't know if we want to bet to protect. I think I'm okay just checking and then calling. We could even check raise, which would be a little bit of a weird one. We're just going to check again and then look to call with the 5-4. 8 should not be in his checking range too much, which is mainly the reason we're looking to call here. We are lagging. We're going to call a half pot bet. If he has an 8, he just has a flush that he didn't bet on the... Okay, that's fine, I guess. We didn't lose too much. A little half pot bet. That's a little bit of weird. He bet half pot for sick value. We're just going to jam over the top of this. We're expecting to get a reasonable... we're expecting this guy to call and the rest to fold. Some wild stuff happening on the bottom left. Haven't been paying super close attention. This is a triple up, so generally speaking, you should play conservative on these types of places. And we get unlucky? Yep. So, other than that, doing pretty good. Let's get to our usual seats in these tables. Sometimes, generally speaking, as a population, people bet big when they have it and small when they don't. Which is why we took the note on the guy on the top right. The little half pot bet with the third nuts, which he backdoored. Down to about 10 big blind stacks here, so we're going to start adopting more of a strategy that involves a lot more shoving than raising. Although raising still has some value, I think it is easier to exploit people post-flop than it is to just jam on them. We are going to raise call here in the top right. We're just going to check back if he checks to us. We're going to raise in the bottom left. We have decent showdown equity. And maybe he spikes a 9. This guy just checks down with ace high, which is reasonable. It's not good enough, but it's reasonable. If we get like limped on, this is the like suited jacks, suited queens are like hands we like to jam over limps or relatively weak play. Because they have decent equity and, yeah, they have decent equity. And they're really hard, they're a lot harder to play post-flop because you'll, like, flop bottom pair half the time you, like, flop a pair. We get them raise open and the min raise, so kind of expecting to see blood on this hand. I'm just going to check back in the bottom right. We are 3-way. If it was not 3-way, this would be a kind of hand we would bluff with. But we just don't have enough equity. We have a gutter, but it's to the dummy end of the straight. Yeah. There was blood up here. Didn't get to catch all of it, but there indeed was blood. This table on the bottom left I haven't been paying much attention to because I haven't had hands, but when I look over, there's been some wild raising and re-raising, so I guess I gotta keep that in mind. Play a little bit more conservative. I'm going to be jamming over any action in the bottom right. I think any action, yeah. It'd have to be something really strong, like a raise and then a re-raise and then a jam. We're gonna go all in with the sixes. We want this guy to fold. Okay, we have a coin flip. We are losing that flip, it looks like. And then we are gonna jam the king rag here for basically one blind, except into this guy, who should fold because of the ICM. And he flops a pair. Now, we have to keep in mind, we've now jammed really loose and been shown to jam loose in the top right, so people might try and exploitatively call us a little bit more. So that's just something to keep in mind. In the bottom left, we have a reasonable hand. Bottom right, we have someone raising, and we have like 7 blinds left with queen 7. I think we can jam and maybe get them off of it. I think we already have money invested. I'm really not sure exactly what I'm supposed to do in this spot. Kind of sucks. We have 6.5 blinds. I'm just going to fold. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. In the top right, I'm going to call off. Looking for a 7 or a queen. We have a raise, and actually, I think I prefer squeezing here. If it folds to us, we're going to jam. We're also just going to jam over this limp. We expect this limp to like fold a lot. We're going to just call with the aces. And we flop top pair in the bottom left. But we don't have a very good kicker. Alright, so we have top pair and a draw. We're just going to check and look to play this top right one very passive because we have the absolute nuts. Someone bets really small. I don't want to let a draw have a decent chance. We're going to check again in the top right. And probably look to raise. I want to get it all in by the river. Can raise a little bit small. And just jam river. We do not make it in the bottom right. In the bottom left, 6 comes. Person min bets. I think I don't have a very strong queen, so I'm pretty okay. Yeah, just calling. Almost timed out in the top right, which would have been not ideal. We have the nuts. Kind of rough for him. He was slow playing against us. A little bit of a cooler setup type thing. And we also have open our thing, so we bombed out of 1 hyper, so we will record that. We started the day at 20 up 20, roughly 28 on the month, and so we will continue to play these, generally speaking, $5 buy-ins. Yeah, that was kind of a sick setup for him. Also, nice that we open limped and gave him a chance to like flop big and like hang himself. Our open limping range right now, as we're playing it, is just entirely exploitative. We have to fold to like whatever this guy does because of ICM reasons, basically, and we don't have like anything, so we're just gonna check and like, okay, we hit a pair. I'm just gonna bet 150 and then shut down after that. Betting for protection there. If he raised, I would have folded. We're gonna call and then look to check down. Hopefully this guy just lets us check down. If he doesn't, we're gonna assume that he has a better hand than us. We have some equity, but if a king comes, we'll hit a straight. We're just gonna check down. And he has... Okay. We're gonna jam with this. We have to play either like fold or jam against this guy because he can just abuse us post-flop. And he doesn't want to call our entire stack either, for ICM reasons as well. It's just, we get dealt a really ugly hand. Just about any hand I'm shoving there, but not that. Don't want to get dealt a good hand. I'm just going to fold here because of ICM reasons. Oh wait, I'm larger stacked than him? I should have jammed. Just kidding. My bad. Missed a chance to chip up there. Hopefully this guy gets busted. I just kind of like to ladder. In theory, you can kind of try and keep the short stack in for a while longer to try and abuse the medium big stack, but we're not that so far ahead of in chips that I think we can really do that. And there's so few blinds right now, I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room for it, so... This guy's also pretty passive. I guess we'll just check. He played really passively with us before. I think I'm just going to fold. Just kind of been getting a read that he's been playing passive, so that's an exploitative fold. I think we should just go with our hand there. Interesting that he min-raises. We'll let him get it in against the short stack. And the short stack, I think, kind of knows what's up. Maybe it looks like, where he doesn't want to, he knows that I don't want to mess with this guy. I will call a raise from the short stack, okay. Or a jam. I mean, the jam is a min-raise from him. So I will be looking to get it in here. And I think he has to call with anything. He does not. He is hoping to... I don't know. I think he has to call with anything there. We're just going to jam here. I think maybe we should have... Maybe we shouldn't have jammed. Maybe we should have just, like, put in 3/4 of our stack or something. That way if this guy folds... I don't know. Or min-raised. Gonna fold to the jam. I think we just have to go with the sand, the stack depth. Kind of playing for first here. He's in bad shape. Let's see, this guy min-raises over. We're gonna call just because I think we're gonna have another person behind. And now we're gonna jam and abuse them. Yeah, so we're calling because we're assuming that this guy's calling, and we're just kind of hoping to flop a flush draw or a flush, and we don't, so we're out. At the top right, somehow there are no eliminations with the three-way all-in, which is unfortunate. I don't know if I have to call 4 big blind shove with the 4-5. I'm just gonna fold. That's I will be shoving this. I think I'll have an enormous amount of fold equity against this guy, so... Alright. I'm going to be shoving quite a lot in this spot where they are both medium stacks, because they're going to want to not get it in against me, but this guy flops 2 pairs, so that's kind of rough. We have flopped near dead, and now we are in a terrible position up here. Kind of just have to play the hands like that, though, I think. Although, when we are just 3 big blinds deep, it becomes a lot more straightforward to play. We're just going to jam this ace. No matter what. This guy, I think, folds too much. Wow, we get a button raise opportunity down in the bottom left. And I think we have to shove the queen 8 for 4 big blinds, and we're just hoping for folds. They played relatively passive. We're just going to call off the min-raise. And we flop a backdoor flush draw and a straight draw. We're expecting him to c-bet here. He does not c-bet. I don't think he's check-raising here. This is a hand that we would want to bluff with. We would want to bet bigger on this type of board texture, so we're going to bet 120. So a little bit more than half pot. We're shoving here in the top right. I think we're just going to check back in the bottom left, and then look to bluff river. Alright, so we're just looking to check back in the bottom left. If he leads into us, I don't know what we do. Yeah, this is a pot-sized lead, generally speaking. People don't bluff much with pot-sized bet. I'm just gonna fold. I was gonna say we managed to get lucky, but we didn't. We are already waiting on the next hyper, and it is not looking like it's popping anytime soon for the $5 hyper, so we are just gonna reg a $1 hyper. Yeah, another thing is we do not need to chip up in the bottom left. We just need to survive. That's the name of the game in the triple up. Because you get the same payout for third as you do for first, so it plays a little bit differently, especially once it gets down to 4 or 5 players. You know, it doesn't have all the weight up at the top. We've actually been doing pretty bad with triple ups so far this quarter. But, okay. We're not pretty bad, but like a little bad. I've just kind of been avoiding them a little bit. I think we get into spots where we just think that they're bluffing and they're not. It's a little too much. Maybe. I don't even know, actually. Kind of got unlucky on this table here that we had open because we just, which one is running? The $5. Okay. Yeah, the table we had open here, we just like, I feel like we just lost a ton of all-ins in a row. And sure, in a lot of those we just had the worst hand, but you know, the worst hand wins a fairly high amount of times. This is the weakest ace that we will raise from this position, so if we get raised, we're either going to jam or fold, I think. Maybe we raise ace-5 suited and ace-4 suited as well, so those would be better jams. Really hate when people min-raise when we raise our weakest ace. It just, like, is the most awkward. I hate it more than anything. Okay, we don't have any, like, backdoor flush draw. We just kind of have this ace-high, so we're going to look to check back. And maybe call some rivers here. Yeah, just checking down. Guy calls. Didn't river bluff. Make a little note. He had no chance of winning at showdown, and he still didn't bluff. And so we can put him on bluffing perhaps less often. Or he's not going to bluff after, like, the little check down spot. Maybe if he hits a draw, he'll bluff, bluff, bluff. Or something like this. Kind of a decent hand to... So he's going to check back a lot of aces in the bottom left, but we would check a lot of aces here as well. We're just going to check. We, like, might have showdown value, but we're going to fold if we see a bet. We kind of just don't want to try and get it through 3 ways. I guess with this note that we have on this guy, it's not really 3 ways, because we know that this guy will just check down air. And so... but I think this guy also... Well, he doesn't check back the ace on the turn, right? If he has an ace. So the reason we didn't want to bet into him on the turn is because an ace is a good card to bet, to check back. Or sorry, is a good card to... Yeah. So if you have an ace-high, that's a good hand to check back with a lot in his position. So we put him on having, like, more ace-highs in his range than perhaps we do, because we were the big blind and it was, like, open-limped. And so we checked just because he has a range advantage, even though it was, like, a decent bluffing spot. And then the queen comes and, like, well, like, I don't know. Maybe he had a queen, maybe he didn't. He full pot size lead. We will be folding to that. I think this is... I don't even think this is an exploitative fold. I think this is just a fold. This guy seems to play fairly straightforward, is raising a little over 2.5. And given that he didn't have the moxie for, like, a weird bluff earlier, we expect that to be value most of the time. Kind of, maybe saved us some money there. So, we're going to hold big lick in the bottom left. I think this is a reasonable hand to squeeze... Well, it's... We're going to raise it up with the Jack-9 suited. We are raising... Normally we would min-raise if we were opening, and we were just raising a little higher because someone has already open-limped. Looks like we're going to have, like, a family pot. Kind of not very good for us. And we're up and down, but it's spades, so I think we can fold this jam. given that we don't have a spade in our hands. This guy just open jams, like... So... Not getting much action here. We're hoping for, like, some action so we can just jam over the top of it. In the bottom left, we might come in for a nice little call. Hopefully we don't get squeezed by the big blind. There's a few other people in the pot, so we might be able to get something going. We are going to raise this guy, and he is probably going to fold. We're just going to 3x him. Yeah. People don't generally have a balanced calling range. So we flop a pair in the bottom left, but we assume this isn't going to be good enough most of the time, so we're going to fold to a bet here. Well, we do have some backdoor draws, actually. We have backdoor... Okay, so we just flop good. We're going to look to bet kind of... Oh, we're going to... This is kind of a... Wow, the 5x open. We wanted to play this, but now we're not going to. This kind of reeks of... These, like, really big open sizings kind of reek of, jacks... Oh, wait, what the hell? Jack, king, jack? They ring of, like, 10s through jacks, basically, and we would have just been crushed here, I guess. A little half-pot bet. Good chance that someone had... Well, I think people will bet their top pair most of the time, so I think there's a good chance this just gets through in the bottom left. Yeah. A little unfortunate. We assume this guy's kind of playing fairly straightforward, given that he, like, just jammed when he flopped a flush, so I think we can fold to the really big open by him. And this guy, really big open, like, not such a good hand. Where's our beautiful face? There we go. We get a call, and then we are here with the king rag. I actually like this as a jam. That's not good. I don't like when they call us when we jam here. This is the $1 table, so that's okay. Yeah, we just ran into it here. This guy will fold most of the time when we jam. It looks a little bit stronger. And, the ace rag and the king rags, I really like jamming over limps in some spots and just pick up some blinds. We run into it there. We're going to call with the king queen off. We're only getting to see 2 more hands before we need to be all in, so... And he well, I don't think he cares too much because he wins the main pot. But a chip and a chair down here. We will be open shoving if it folds to us. It does not. We will be all in with the king 9 suited. Fairly good. Again, we will only see 1 more hand before we like have to be all in, so gonna have to all in a lot here. We're gonna be jamming here in the top right. And we get a family pot in the bottom right? That's not good for us. Or it's not quite a family pot, but yeah, almost a family pot. And once this guy's betting, when it's like dead money, it looks real bad for us. Yeah, he had jack 8. We do not want to sit another one of these because this was a $1 sit and go. We will record that we lost it, but we're looking to mainly play $5, and so we have a decent hand to raise with. We are opening 1.5 blinds here, or 2.5 on this board here, because we are still sufficiently deep. If we were even deeper, I think we would open 3.5, but we're not that deep. This guy, well, can we fold 9 blinds here with king high? I think we can. We can definitely fold over the call. A little bit of a bummer for him. What can you do? Now we are looking to reg another Hyper Turbo, $5 Hyper Turbo. There is not one already sat, which I think generally means the play is going to be softer. We come in here with Big Lick. I kind of don't like... We get popped up for... This is quite a big raise. I think we're just going to fold. Because we have to, like, get it in at some point. This is kind of brutal. The top right. We want to be generally the first one in. We will open again in the bottom left and hope not to get hurt again. I think we will... We won't call this guy's, like, insane... Oh, he just jams? What the fuck? We're not calling a jam, but... Alright. Weird that he has a huge pre-flop range, and then also... Oh, we're all in the top right. Weird that he has a huge pre-flop range, and then also, like, this... Oh, we are in bad shape up here. We need an 8. Yeah. We will not sit because we're already... So, we are having a bad time of it. I think we've lost all... Ooh. We've lost all 4 of our sit and goes that have completed. We are in okay shape here. If we click the details button, we're in 3rd of 8th, which we only have to finish 3rd. And this guy, as we are starting to pay more attention, this guy looks like more of a maniac. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe we just wait for a good hand and try and get it all in and then kind of sit on our stack, but... I don't know. He could have just gotten 2 good hands in a row. That's, like, allowed to happen. That's probably what it is. You know, it's easy to think someone's coming after you when they're really not in poker, just as a general heuristic. I think we call the min raise, because he's not very deep. And kind of expect him to jam a lot. Well, we don't have a spade, so we're just going to fold to this jam. If he jams. I'm going to fold to a bet from this guy as well, not having a spade. Well, we hit a little bit of equity. We have a gutter ball. I'm going to bet small. I think that if someone has a lot of equity on this, they usually want to bet if they have a spade. I think this guy would have jammed. Yeah. So it's really more just betting against this guy. And I think once this guy checks, he has a really good spot to just bluff. And so... I'm so tempted. Yeah, I was tempted to do that, what this guy just did. Just seemed like there was a lot of dead money. That's so funny. Yeah, so someone is sitting a total of 3 hyper turbos because, or 2 to 3, because if we take a look, there are 2 hyper tables open. Interesting. We have the min raise from the short stack. This is not normally a hand we would want to play as a jam here. This is a weird spot because we want to kind of isolate this guy and then pick up the extra equity, I think. And this is something I would jam for 10, and we're kind of used to this guy trying... Well, we're not used to this guy trying to abuse us. We thought he might have been getting out of line. But we're just treating it as if it folded to us, and if it folds to us, this is a jam here. And maybe this is not the correct way to play this. Gross. So hopefully we hold up against this guy. This guy's got the queens, so that's nice. Yeah, so since this guy had 2 queens, this guy had much less equity. And now we are in 1st of 8. And people are starting to get really short, so they're going to have to start playing jam fold. Or they should be playing jam fold. We might have a little bit of a short session. I guess we can sit another... We can sit another $1 hyper. I'm really not looking to play $1 hypers. I think I would rather just focus on the boards I have open instead of playing the $1 boards. I'm just trying to get a read on things. This guy plays very unusual pre-flop. Or bad. Well, I don't hate the min-raising the queens, I guess. Because you were just trying to make sure you get action. And maybe, maybe we should just be more careful when this guy min-raises. But he also min-raised earlier with a different hand that he folded to us. So, there's that. But yeah, just a lot of check, 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 check here. Hey, we got a second person. I don't know if you can see that. Sign up for our Hyper Turbo. So maybe we'll get another Hyper Turbo. Yeah, we're playing in the middle of the day right now, where the games aren't as generally as soft. So that's one part of it. Also, don't feel too hot. Also, think we just kind of run bad. I think there was one spot where we had the chip lead repeatedly, and we just got in all ins and we just got destroyed, I guess. So we will sit another $5 hyper. That's what we are looking to do here. And some action in the bottom left. Just got an open jam for 20 bigs. These guys are going to have to call eventually. This guy might kind of know what's up. Interested to see what this guy's calling with, because we think he was playing with a bit of a maniac earlier, and he's calling with basically not a very good hand, and this open jam is fine. So the maniac is out, and we do not have to accumulate on this bottom left, so we don't have to lean on anyone if it's not a really good spot. We're going to raise because we raised this from the button, and he was sitting out. Kind of not thrilled to get two callers. We have some backdoor straight draws and a backdoor, really weak flush draw. I think I just like to check because we have the king high. Ace comes. If it goes check, check, we're going to bet. We're going to bet about half pot. That's because we have a lot of aces we're checking back. I think we can just, this is just a good spot to bet a lot. Because if they have an ace, they'll generally bet. And so when we have a range that has an ace a lot, I think we just kind of want to bet. And now we're in an awkward spot. I think we could just jam over. And just hope for the best. This other Hyper Turbo just fired in no time, which is both fortuitous and we might just be out on this one. It is an under the gun raise, so doing this is maybe a little loose. Maybe we're just supposed to flat here. And we get dealt pocket rockets in the bottom right corner. And there will be blood in the bottom left. Ooh, rough. Rough. Hits is 8. 9? 9 on the river would have been brutal. We are going to raise. The question is how big. Now I guess we could flat, but we're going to just make it 144. Basically just click it back to him, which to this guy should just reek of value, but this guy's not going anywhere. I think he's probably just going to jam on us a lot of the time. And we're going to look to check most flops. Sucks for him. You know, you get it in with ace-king and you have no shot. No shot. We're just gonna... so I think this is a decent hand to, just jam over this limp with, because limps are generally weak, but we're just gonna check. And I think we have to call here with king high on this texture. But this guy seems content to just check it down with us. Maybe we'll give a call here. He's just checking down ace high. Good on him. pretty reasonable. We were just checking down king high. Interesting he paused towards the end. He's maybe thinking of bluffing. We're going to raise in the bottom right. This is maybe a little bit loose, but I think it's fine. We're going to fold in the top right. Now we have to... So, in the bottom left, we have to remember that we do not need to accumulate chips. And so, we can fold a lot wider to open jams and still have a decent shot of... well, you get picked off in the bottom right. We had this spot with king 10 suited earlier and we folded. I'm just going to fold again. Crazy that people are like just calling, looking to play post. We're gonna fold to a bet. We have some backdoor straights, but we're not very interested without the backdoor straight and the backdoor flush. They had to pay for an opportunity to see this board. We did not. We do not have to overplay our 9 deuce, especially because when we hit a deuce, we're not going to be good very often. We're just gonna... Well, I think we could bluff here. I think we will bluff here. I think we'll get folds generally, and yeah. So this is a board that we're gonna bet small on. Generally, I think we can bet. Oh, we weren't the pre-flop raiser here. Just kidding. Should not have bet there. Someone open calls. I think we'll just call along with the 4s. Could also jam, but we don't need to accumulate chips here, you know? We flop a gutter, backdoor flush. Weak backdoor flush, but in the top right, we're going to bet pretty big. We want to protect. If he flopped a flush, good on him, I guess. There's 4 to a straight, but we hit a set. So we're going to bet big. We're going to bet pot and kind of expect to get folds. Yeah. And I mean, when we don't get folds, we're probably, well, I don't know if we're in bad shape. Get raised, and there's a call, so we'll just fold. I don't know if we're supposed to open jam this ace-7. This guy makes it easy on us by just open jamming himself. We do not need to accumulate chips in the bottom left, so we do not necessarily have to take risks. We are the big stack by a pretty large margin, and we can just let these guys kind of fight amongst themselves. Obviously, if the spot's really good, we'll go for it, but yeah, maybe we're supposed to call here. I'm not sure. Ace-7's a pretty good hand for 3 blinds. We don't have to, like, pick him off, though. This guy 3x's. A little weird. This guy just calls. I think maybe we could raise for value here in the bottom right, but just because their limping range is pretty weak. We're going to look to bet small. The smallest we can bet is half pot, but this is going to be one of our stronger queens, and so we want to bet our strong queens in the bottom right and check back some of our weaker queens. But queen-king, we are definitely raising for value, so that makes queen-jack our strongest queen we can have here, and we will be raising here. We're going to be 5x raising, and if this guy jams, I guess we'll get it in. Kind of a weird flop. We have some backdoor stuff. We're just going to check and maybe call a street if he bets small. Now we hit some equity, so we're going to bet half pot. If we hit a jack, we have a jack and draw and 2 overs. Should we continue bluffing? I think we should, because, and this is going to like be really sad if like it doesn't work, because we don't have any diamonds in our hand and there was a missed diamond draw. I think we want to bluff with a lot of our hands that do not have, we're going to raise call here. We're going to want to bluff with a lot of our hands that, whoa, someone, I didn't see how big his stack was beforehand, but that's crazy. This is one of our stronger queens. We're going to want to bet to protect. On this flop, I think we want to bet like half pot, like kind of on the bigger size. Well, actually, well, he jams. I think he'll jam a lot of flush draws. We're just gonna call and like hope well, he just jams a 9. You see that a lot too. He's just jamming for protection. He flopped a pair and he's going with it. We can open jam this or we can raise call it. I kind of like the open jam. I think if we're suited, we raise call. I'm really not sure exactly. I think we also have an enormous amount of fold equity right now on these two guys because they are both trying to money rather than trying to win the whole thing, I think. In the bottom left, we have a weekend, so we're going to fold. We are going to jam. So we're going to jam in the top right. We'll expect to get a medium amount of calls. But generally speaking, the limp range is weak. And a suited king rag, 7's not even that bad. It's definitely a type of hand. We are going to call. It's always weird when it's like less than a full. Now we're gonna look to just check down in the top right. We hit some equity, but we're still just gonna look to check down. We're not gonna go for value here. We're just gonna check down. We have hands on all 3 boards at once. Let's see, it checks to us. Do we want to bet this flop? I think we want to bet some of our aces here. The ones we want to bet, I think, are the ones that do not have a spade in them. I think we can fold on this flop. We're going to jam here. It's kind of a little tough. We get it in good, but we have that situation. Yeah, sorry if the play was like bad on these boards here. I was paying attention to the board where I had the aces. We're just gonna check here. This is a spot where we could just raise or like rip it, but let's see. We're gonna call here because this guy cannot raise over. Oh, he can? What the hell? Well, we're gonna fold, I guess. We're gonna jam over this raise. I thought the jam was too small from this guy. We're gonna just min bet here to protect, and also when the next card comes to play in flow, he'll check to us a lot, and then we'll just. I think this is a call for 6, and we're gonna jam this in the top right. We have a ton of equity, but we're just looking to check down in the bottom left. Yeah. Or bottom right, rather. I think this is a jam for 8 blinds, or 9 blinds. Okay, jamming the top right. We could raise call. I think we get lucky. This ace-8 is a little tempting, but we're just gonna fold it. Gonna check here. We're gonna open limp. We're kind of only open limping queens through aces. And we're just gonna call. A little unfortunate he hits the flush. Maybe we can fold there, but like that's not the game plan with the pre-flop. And we were good on the flop, so I think we can jam here. This is 6-8 off. I don't think it plays as good as a raise fold. Not sure what we do if he calls up here in the top right. I think we look to raise as a bluff. And we run into it. Now we are short enough to jam the 10-8. Jamming the king high. I wonder what he was limp. So this guy, we have to try and keep in mind that this guy's limp range is maybe not as weak as we think. because he has a limp jamming range, so... This guy gets a break in the bottom right. I think we've jammed like 3 or 4 hands in a row. Yeah, just at our depth is just very short on both of these boards on the right, and so, wow, we get it in with a lot of, come on. Brutal. Not a very big fan of that run out. I think this is not a jam for 10 blinds. Alright, well, after some bad luck, we get some good luck, and now it's bad luck again. I don't know, just kidding. Good luck. Again, in the bottom left, we can kind of just let these guys duke it out amongst themselves now that our stack is really large. We have not been trying to accumulate chips because chips are not very useful. I'm not sure if he's going to believe us on a bluff, but... yeah, we're just going to check our 10 high. I don't know. All in here. Maybe we're supposed to jam that. I'm just becoming a coward here. I think we were supposed to maybe jam the 6-7. We will be jamming over a limp. Not a huge fan of like being heads up on 2 tables at once. Playing heads up is always a little more stressful. This guy's played really passive so far, so if he like shows us he likes his hand, like even the slightest bit, we're just gonna like fold a lot to him. And we're gonna look to just check down queen high. We're gonna raise with the jacks. He jams over the top. We're gonna jam with our king 5. We know that he can sometimes be trapping with his limps, but wow, and we're just in wow, double wow. Incredible. So this guy bets into us. We have maybe a decent hand for calling. We're just gonna fold though. Our read is that he is not messing with us, so at least at this juncture. So we got second and first, and now we're up $6 on the day. Someone min raises, kind of middle position-ish. Yeah, so like that, maybe we don't even have to call with queen high there, like theoretically. I think there's not a lot of hands where just checking. Well, I don't know. I don't know what he's betting there either, because it was like, if he had an ace, he should have bet the ace on earlier. Like, his line didn't make that much sense unless he's just playing uber passive against us because we're the big stack, and then he just finally, like, couldn't take it anymore and had to go for value, which could be it. You know, I think there's a reasonable chance that that's what's going on. We're expecting, we're not going to sit another table because we are expecting that this will not take too much longer. The blinds are starting to get really big. We're only 6 players remaining. One person's basically already out, and these guys 7 blinds, 8 blinds. It's a little marginal with the 9-10 suited, but we will min raise and call off. Well, I guess we won't call off. So we will min raise with extremely strong hands, and so they should not be like jamming on us, like re-jamming on us very often. And so I think we can. We flop really good. I think we actually want to bet kind of bigger on this kind of flop. Well, I guess we don't because we can just get it in by the turn. So this guy should fold like almost always. I think we should have bet a little bit smaller so we could bet 3 streets. But I'm okay protecting a little bit. I'm not sure in the top right whether we want to check or bet. We're going to go with our hand, but he bets really small. Now we're going to lead. I think we want to check jam sometimes with the king of spades. Maybe we could have gotten value there. Yeah, we should have bet for value. Ah, my bad. I know sometimes, like, or we want to, like, check jams the king, the nut flush card occasionally. I guess we just don't want to do it there after the person bets small on the flop, because usually when someone bets small on the flop, they have a, like, marginal, like, bottom pair type hand that they, like, don't know what they're supposed to do with, basically. We're going to call the min raise with the king 9 off. Kind of don't like taking it three ways too much. We have backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. Well, we don't love that for pot size bet, I don't think. We do like it. Yeah, I'm disoriented up here because I'm not on the right seat. This is a hand we'll maybe squeeze with if there are a couple limpers. Well, facing a limp and a raise, we will fold. And in the bottom left, we are down to 5 players. The short stack finally busted, and these guys are all like at 7 blinds. And so, if we were trying to accumulate chips, we would open jam this, but I don't think we need to play like that. Maybe we're supposed to anyways. This guy hasn't had much of an open jamming type strategy. From what I can tell, he's just been kind of playing a little bit conservative. So I assume that this is like a weak pocket pair. Not that we would want to call it, but a little curious what he had. We will call off any one of these guys, but not him. This guy limps, we'll jam over. Actually, we should have open jammed here. Oh well. Oh, on the bottom. In the top right, we have 2s. I think we're just gonna fold. We'll never be like more than 50% against, more than 55% against this guy, and sometimes we'll just be crushed if he's doing that with any pocket pair above 2s. So I don't think we need to. What the hell? This guy just calls off with nothing, basically. Okay. Now, we can lean on these guys and they'll have to fold a lot, but we don't really get that much from doing that. This guy effectively open jams. We have a kind of okay hand for this depth. I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. Just kind of avoiding conflict. Our stack is so big that, like, we have like half the chips on the board. We don't need to play very aggressive. Like, we can blind away for a while. This guy open jams in the bottom. We're gonna jam, or sorry, in the right side, we're gonna rejam over this. Expect to have a decent amount of fold equity. Oof. Rough. Rough all around, I suppose. Because these guys look like they're getting the business, especially the guy with kings. Neat trap, dude. I like it. Probably gonna be jamming here. Yeah, we're gonna just jam. He's not very deep. He's only 7 blinds deep, and I think he's I was gonna say I think he's way more likely to call with a bad hand after that previous hand where he just got donked with kings. Yeah, we are not regging any new ones. Last time we played, we had the unfortunate circumstance of we had a table down here that we didn't notice that popped, and like I was even like, "Where's my table, bro?" We will call if this guy jams. I don't know if we call if this guy jams. Probably don't need to. Someone's got to call him eventually, though. These guys, these boys. This guy really needs to chip up, though. We will fold to this guy's raise. Kind of like a raise fold on this hand. I think I like a raise fold on this hand as well in the bottom left. Maybe it's a little loose. This guy doesn't fully jam. This is a flop that would hit our raising range, and we have a backdoor flush draw. We are going to bet small, and if he jams, we will just fold. I think this guy will play either. I don't think this guy will call very often. I think he'll either jam or fold. We're just gonna fold this here. I'm glad he raised because I wasn't sure what we were gonna do beforehand. We can fold the 3-9 for that many blinds, I think. 3-9 off. I think 3-9 suited we have to call, but 3-9 off, probably not. We'll probably jam this. I don't think we quite want to play it as a raise fold or as a raise call. Blinds are now huge here. This guy has 3 blinds. We're going to play this as a raise, call this guy, fold to this guy. And they get it in here. Oh, the humanity. Suck out. And now we are in... Well, I guess we can just check this here. Could play this as a raise. I think if we raise, we're going to have to call off, so I actually don't like raising, because I think that these guys will just jam over a raise, or they'll just fold. And maybe we're okay if they just fold, but, yeah. And then, like, from a chip perspective, we have to call. Like, if we lose a couple all-ins, then suddenly we can't just, like... We don't look in very good shape anymore in this bottom left. So we do have to kind of tread a little bit carefully. We do not want to call this for 7 blinds. And this guy, well, I was going to say we get it in and he's crushed, but he flops good. Not for very many blinds, so it's not a big deal. If he limps, we're going to jam. If he raises, we're just going to be agonized. If he folds, we're happy. Yeah, these guys are all 7 blinds deep. We are going to jam this ace-4 suited, which terrifies me. Or ace-4 off. I think we have to call off against this guy in the top right. Maybe we should have open jammed. We're going to jam this flop. It's going to miss him most of the time. He can have queen high and king high that folds here. Maybe he calls down with ace high. We're going to jam over pretty much any action with the 5s. And we'll call. Alright, it's a flip. It's an ace. We're doing poorly. And looks like there might be blood. Yeah, this guy, I think, kind of knows what's up. Wow, this guy is putting in a third of his stack and then he's folding. That is wild. This guy, I don't know, well, I don't know, maybe we can play this differently. He calls with the Jack-10 suited, which I don't hate, but unlucky for him, I guess. Comes in dominated. This person just calls and we have king-queen. I guess we'll see a flop. We'll call 1-bet, I guess. Kind of content to just check down as well. We're calling a bet. Guess we can fold here? Maybe? two pair. Yeah, he's just been playing like super snug. And now the texture of what's going on here has changed dramatically. We're gonna jam here. Because now chipping up is not so bad for us. We're going to jam with the ace-jack off. We do not want to raise because we really don't want to call with the ICM implications, but this hand's too good to not play. We're going to jam in the top right. And maybe we can just raise to 3,000 and then fold or something, or raise to 920. I'm not sure, actually. Like, maybe this is how we get ourselves in trouble in these triple ups. We don't know how to play this weird spot where this guy has 890 and there's just like huge ICM pressure, and maybe that's a call there, but probably not. Right, because this guy, he's the guy. I don't know what to do with this hand. I think I'm supposed to fold. Gross. I will be calling this guy's jam, and then just checking down against anything. I'm checking down because this guy should also just be checking down because there's no point. You get nothing for accumulating chips here. And we just both want this guy out. And this guy triples up. I do think I have to call this for 4 blinds. A little, not exactly what we wanted. We also have too many outs here, so we of course are not going to hit. So now we've gone from being in quite a good position to being in a little bit of a precarious situation. We're not the short stack, but we do have to care about accumulating chips here. If he limps in the top right, we're going to jam. If he jams, we'll be agonized and maybe fold. And we just get it in it's like so fucking rough. Alright. Alright. I think we had to call mathematically, but I also think he's not jamming as often as he should. I don't know what that means in terms of... And this guy just... Oh no, wait, we get him. Okay. Tit for tat, I guess, in the top right. Which is kind of how these are. We are going to be jamming over anything he does. We're calling. Hopefully he doesn't have ace-queen again. Yeah, he has queen-4. This is more like it. This is the jamming range. And he just runs into it. Okay. So we've basically won this one. We can stop paying attention to it. This kind of sucks. I'm just going to fold here, I guess. I don't know. I think we're actually supposed to jam. We just have to not be a coward. Yeah, we are going to jam this. Because we have to play aggressive. We have to try and stay above like some of these guys in stack size. There's not a lot of blinds, and it's just like a lot of it's just going to be luck at this point. We're hoping this guy doesn't jam on us, but he should be thinking the same way. We're hoping this guy raises. If this guy raises, then we don't need to play very aggressively. We just have to stay ahead of these smaller stacks, really. I think we can jam here. We'll be... yeah. I don't know why this guy is showing us every time he folds. I think he just doesn't want us to be jamming on him as much, but... we are opening up our range because accumulating chips is now more of a concern. And maybe we should have played a little bit aggressively earlier when I was like, accumulating chips is not a concern, but I think I'm okay with the way we played. Like, where we're just like not bluffing and we're just generally raising for value. We are back to being the top stack, but it's very volatile, so accumulating chips has some merit. The blinds go up in 2 minutes. So that like reeks of someone who didn't want to jam but did. Hallelujah. So we managed to bink the triple up as well. I think we are up. So we started the day up 28 on the month, and now we're up 51 on the month. A little bit of a surprise. We started off pretty poorly as well. I think we lost 4 or 5 hypers in a row. One of them was only a $1 hyper, and then we came back and we just won 3 or 4 in a row, which is kind of just poker. Up like $23-ish on the day, which is a little bit of a surprise. Yeah, so that was another session in the books. Yeah, I'm not so down here in the bottom left, the triple ups are I usually try not to play them because I don't think they're as soft as the regular 9-mans. But that was what was running, so I did that. Oh, there's a 3-table sit and go. These are usually really soft, but we don't want to play one for $1. We're still done with this session either way. A little bit surprising. We're not feeling very well, and we're playing in the middle of the day, so the games are generally tougher. So a little bit surprised to get a pretty good result, although we shouldn't be surprised because it's just luck. So if we win $30 or lose $30, it just shouldn't be surprising. But that's not the way the human brain works and processes stuff. We're thinking that we should get a certain result, and then the poker's just high variance. So you shouldn't be attached to any type of result. But anyways, hope you enjoyed. Any comments, requests, anything like that, feel free to put them in the comments. Like, subscribe, all the YouTube algorithm stuff, and have a good one.